Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news. And we got some big, but bittersweet Xbox news today, including some Xbox Game Pass information, a release window for the Xbox Series X, and yes, Halo Infinite has unfortunately been delayed, so stay tuned for all of that. Also, yesterday we talked about whether or not Warner Bros. Interactive was still up for sale. As we all know, Xbox, EA, and Take-Two has all expressed interest in making a massive acquisition for Warner Bros. Interactive, which includes several talented studios. Well, there were some reports yesterday jumping to the conclusion that AT&T was no longer selling the Warner Bros. Game division, but now we got some new information that says otherwise, so don't go anywhere and we will talk about that as well. First though, we do have some other stuff to talk about, including some more timed exclusives for the Avengers. Yeah, this is just getting absurd by this point, but Square Enix has announced more exclusive content for the Avengers. Of course, Sony and Square Enix took a lot of heat last week when they announced Spider-Man in the Avengers was going to be a PlayStation exclusive, and that PlayStation users would get several exclusive skins and events on top of that. Xbox and PC fans was not exactly too happy to hear this, and well, Square Enix isn't going to stop there either because they have also apparently signed a deal with mobile carriers now. Both Verizon and Virgin Mobile will be getting their own exclusive skins for Avengers, though on the Verizon website it does say that they will be timed exclusives. So there it is, more timed exclusive deals for the Avengers, and by this point, I really don't blame fans for being completely turned off by this game. I'm personally not a big fan of timed exclusive deals or exclusive content for one platform, but I will ask you, how do you feel about the Avengers now? If you were interested in it before, does all of this exclusive content bother you or not? Let me know in the comments below. In other news, the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster has been rumored for quite a while now. It just keeps popping up online, and even EA has hinted that this is a thing several times. But to this day, we have not really got anything official. Well, it looks like that may be changing very soon, as an announcement looks to be imminent. Apparently, the retailer game has the Mass Effect Trilogy listed in their system, and one fan was even able to pre-order it. Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened, but as you can see here, Game apparently has it releasing on September 29th, though that does look to be the wrong date. Both Jeff Grubb and Shinobi claims that while the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster is actually happening, that release date is however wrong. It appears that they are right because Game did move the date to October 30th in their app. So there you have it. One of the best trilogies ever made will be making a return, and it looks like it will be very soon. Though unfortunately, so far it appears that it will only be coming to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. The Nintendo Switch currently is not being listed, and that is very unfortunate if true because I think the Switch would have been the perfect platform for it. I just cannot imagine why it would not be able to run on the Switch unless they're doing a beefy remaster, more in line with a remake than just a resolution and frame rate boost. If it is just a simple remaster though, and it's not available on the Switch, that is an odd decision to not put it on the Switch. Then again, it is EA, so I shouldn't really be too surprised. Nonetheless, I am excited to see Mass Effect return, and I'm very curious to see what they do. And speaking of games that will be returning, unfortunately, I do have some bad news here. Goldeneye 25, a fan-made remake of the Nintendo 64 classic using Unreal Engine 4, has sadly been cancelled. This is due to the bond rights holder MGM, which requested them to cease all development on Goldeneye 25. Now, I usually do not talk about fan-made games, but this is a special case here because Goldeneye 25 actually looked really good. I'm not going to show gameplay on my channel, but I will leave a link below to the gameplay of this game, and really it did look excellent. It was in development for 3 years, and I think MGM made a mistake here. Granted, they do have every right to shut this game down, but I personally think that they could have went a different route here. If you think about something like Black Mesa, that was also a fan-made remake of Half-Life, and instead of Valve shutting that project down, they helped make it an official release for Steam. So I just think that would have been a better solution here. They could have officially licensed this game and went from there, but instead it's being shut down. The good news here is that the developers' hard work will not be completely wasted, as they are going to repurpose the project and make a new 90s action shooter. So more or less, whatever they make will now essentially be a spiritual successor to Goldeneye, which, funny enough, was actually Perfect Dark. So spiritual successor is probably not the best choice of words, but this may be a project worth paying attention to. Moving on, the Xbox Series X has a new release window for November, which is kind of what most of us expected by this point. But there it is. You will be able to pick up the Series X this November, though unfortunately Halo Infinite, their biggest game, will no longer be an Xbox Series X launch title. Yes, they did delay Halo Infinite into 2021 with an undetermined release date, and this is bittersweet news. Obviously, the first gameplay showcase for Halo Infinite wasn't great from a visual standpoint, and it's been ridiculed ever since. Of course, we all know about Craig the Brute by this point. I still firmly believe that Halo Infinite will look much better when it officially releases though, but now that it has been delayed to 2021, I have no doubt in my mind that it will deliver in terms of quality, both from a gameplay standpoint as well as visually. The gameplay already looks fantastic, bringing that old school Halo feel back, so now they just need to get the visuals up to date. The one thing I was previously disappointed about was that it was originally not going to have ray tracing when it launched, but instead it was going to be added in a later update. With this delay though, maybe that has changed. Ray tracing, in my opinion, will be the biggest visual change heading into next generation, so I absolutely want this in Halo Infinite Day 1, and not some update afterwards. To me, that was a clear sign that they were trying to rush this game in order to make it a launch title for the Series X. I'm sure that this delay was a very hard decision by Xbox, considering this was their biggest game this holiday, but I do think it's the right decision to make. Halo is a huge franchise that people love, and first impressions are very important. It's better to delay this game and get it done right, rather than rush it with issues, and I like this by Xbox. They are putting quality first here, which is a good sign heading into next generation. Halo Infinite is meant to be a game that lasts years and years, so let's do this thing right. So hopefully this delay helps out and makes for a better game. That's what we all want at the end of the day, and based off what we saw, I think Halo Infinite is going to be a great game. I will ask you though, does this affect your purchasing decision for the Xbox Series X this November? Remember, they just announced a release window, so let me know in the comments below. And while we are on topic of Xbox, we have a pretty big tease here for Xbox Game Pass. The VentureBeat journalist Jeff Grubb is saying that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, Microsoft will announce another big reason to own Xbox Game Pass. And I know fans right away are thinking that this is going to be related to a big game, but Jeff does say that this is not related to a single game. So those who are wanting Cyberpunk 2077 on Game Pass, this is likely not going to be in an announcement like that. So what I'm thinking here is a few different things. It could be something similar to the xCloud announcement, where we get another feature added to Game Pass. It could be a new way to monetize the Series X, where you can pay a monthly subscription to own the Series X. Or maybe it could be a major deal with a publisher. This is just me speculating, but maybe a publisher signs up with Xbox to release several games into Game Pass Day 1. Maybe EA Access joins up with Game Pass Ultimate, or what about Sega? There has been a lot of rumors surrounding a Sega and Xbox deal. I mean, speculation got so out of control that at one point it was widely believed that Sega and Xbox were making their own console together to release in Japan, the Sega Series X. And while obviously that never happened, the fact remains that Sega and Xbox seems very cozy with one another here recently. So could a publisher like Sega sign up with Xbox Game Pass to release more of their games into Xbox Game Pass Day 1? I'm not so sure about that, and I'm just spitballing right now, but Jeff Grubb does know his stuff. He has been leaking a lot of information across the industry lately, all of which has been very accurate. So we should expect some kind of big Xbox Game Pass announcement very soon. I will ask you, what do you think that they could possibly announce to make Xbox Game Pass even more enticing than it already is? Let me know in the comments below. And before we move on to our final topic, we do have a quick update on Xbox Game Pass and xCloud. If you are an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, xCloud will be available today in a limited time beta. Of course, xCloud will officially release into 22 countries on September 15th, where you can play every Xbox Game Pass game through xCloud. Starting today, though, you will have access to some, but not all, Xbox Game Pass games as they try to have a smooth transition into the official release. So go check that out, and I can honestly say I use xCloud quite a bit. I like it a lot. On to our last topic though. We did talk about this yesterday, but there were some reports going around yesterday that AT&T was no longer selling Warner Bros. Interactive. This was because of a company email that simply stated that Warner Bros. Interactive remained a part of the studios and network group. And the reason I talked about this yesterday on the channel is because I felt like people were jumping to conclusions. Nowhere in that letter does it actually say that Warner Bros. Interactive was not being sold. The letter didn't really seem to be about Warner Bros. At all, but somehow, this rumor started to catch fire that they were somehow off the market. Well, now a new report by Tweaktown has come out stating otherwise. Yes, Warner Bros. Interactive very much still looks to be on the market as AT&T is trying to sell them for $4 billion to chip away at their massive $152 billion debt. Yet AT&T is having some major issues, which is why they're trying to sell off Warner Bros. Still though, $4 billion is a lot of money, which could be a tough sell for publishers. We do know that Take-Two, EA, and Microsoft has all expressed interest in acquiring Warner Bros., but we haven't really heard much other than that. Well, we do have some new details. AT&T will not be selling the Mortal Kombat IP, which does surprise me, but however, the acquisition will include the exclusive licensing rights to several big intellectual properties, including Mortal Kombat and the DC Universe. That means that whoever acquires Warner Bros. Will be able to make games for Mortal Kombat, Batman, Superman, likely Harry Potter, and other IP. As for how long, I'm not really sure. This is just licensing rights, so that could be 1 year, it could be 5, 10, or even more. Think of how EA continuously has to sign licensing rights for the Madden franchise. They do have to sign a contract with the NFL to do such a game, and this would be similar here. So this is something that AT&T will have to work out with whoever tries to purchase them, and that's something I've said several times. An acquisition of this size is going to be a very lengthy process. Don't expect this to happen anytime soon. This very well could be months of negotiation behind the scenes, and there is no guarantee that this will ever happen at all. It certainly seems very possible, and there is a lot of studios up for grabs here, and those licensing agreements are a big deal too. But because whoever buys them won't own those IP completely, I do suspect that will affect negotiations and how long they last. How much this will affect them though, I'm not sure. Microsoft certainly has the money to make an acquisition of this size, and we know they want more studios, plus having exclusive rights to the Batman franchise for Xbox Game Pass could make it very enticing for them. They could also use NetherRealms for the Killer Instinct franchise, but who knows, EA and Take-Two are right there as well, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens. For that matter, a new player may step up here, and it's just hard to tell right now. What we do know though is that yes, Warner Bros. Is still up for sale. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you would like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.